podcasting during school when my house was quiet enough to work. This is Reimagining Hustle, a podcast for entrepreneurial parents creating a life where business and parenthood live peacefully in the same space. I'm your host, Roxanne Merket, a mom of two, micro-business coach, and serial entrepreneur on a journey to prove that it is possible to do what you love without sacrificing all your precious time. Welcome back to Reimagining Hustle. This week, I've got something a little different for you. We've done this show now for 75 episodes, which just blows my mind. I think back from the very first episode that we did, I had my daughter interview me. That was a little over 2 years ago. And the change that has happened in her, in me, in people who have listened to the show has been humbling, truly. And so today I thought we'd revisit just a couple of clips from some of those episodes, especially from the earlier episodes. My favorite part of the show is often the pep talk. So I've picked 4 pep talks for you today to listen to re-energize you in case you haven't listened to the episodes before or you needed a refresher of what we've listened to in the past. I thought that'd be a fun way to celebrate those 75 episodes. So very first, let's dive right in. I've got Dr. Ashley Wellman.
I would say get up and do it. Stop making excuses. Stop saying when the time's right, when I have enough money, when I have the support I need, when I have the time. It's never going to happen. It's like having the baby. There's never a great time. You never have enough money. So my thing would be, no matter what your quest is in life, start the process. So like I said, I'm a work in progress daily. And there's beauty in that because I give myself permission to stumble. It's hard for me to do that, but give yourself the permission to stumble and say it's not going to be perfect, but start, because there's so many people out there that say, oh, I want to own a boutique. Oh, I want to be an author. I want to be a coach. I would love to have my own class to teach people this. And they don't do it because they never were willing to take the first step. And instead of looking at that mountain, I actually just had a former student who I adopted like a daughter. She told me just last night, she said, don't forget, count the pebbles behind you that you've laid down on your walk and don't always look at the mountain ahead of you because it's those little pebbles that make it all possible. So you may not have a website up and ready to go, but you could have your landing page, or you may not have the entire book written, but you could start writing the first page because it's that fear of saying, I may not be good enough. I may not be able to finish it. I may not accomplish what I want that stops us from even starting. So go put your big girl britches on or your superhero cape or whatever it is, grab your glass of coffee or wine and start. Because if you don't, you are days behind, years behind, a lifetime behind. And I will tell you from experience, you are guaranteed nothing in this life. So you have to start creating what you want it to look like.
Oh my word, I loved this pep talk from Dr. Ashley Wellman. The inspiration to just start. Just start. Just do the thing. Put on your superhero cape. I loved how she said that. Put on your superhero cape and just start. I know lots of us get stuck in the idea phase of, oh, this would be such a good idea, but we don't even know where to start. That can be really frustrating of not even knowing where to start. So I want to tell you what I told a mom at the bus stop just last week. You really only need 3 things to start a business. You need something to sell, you need somebody to sell it to, and you need a way to take money. That's it. Business is very simple. And yes, there's more, of course, right? Like we know there's more, of course, but start there. If you don't know where to start there. Really define, what are you selling? Who are you selling it to? And how are you going to get paid? I think sometimes, especially as women, we're afraid to charge what we're worth. We've been taught to just serve everybody around us and not actually charge for things, to just do things that exposure is great payment. It's not. Please charge for what you're doing and just start. If you have got those 3 pieces ready to go, you know what you sell, you know who you're selling it to, and you know how you're going to accept payment. Now comes the fun stuff. Now we get to start talking about how you're going to start spreading the word. So the very first thing I want you to do is practice. Speak what it is you're doing. Have you had an opportunity where somebody says, oh, what is it that you do? And you just kind of hesitate? I am guilty of this. I often will say, oh, I just dabble. But truthfully, I teach entrepreneur moms how to slow down and start listening to themselves intentionally. And it took me a long time before I was comfortably able to say that. So if you don't have that yet, start there. Next, we're going to listen to Felicia Wright.
Okay. So I love talking to moms, but what I want to tell moms is that me and my friend just realized this. It's like you do not have to be Wonder Woman, Superwoman, a superhero to get things done. You just have to be very smart about how you spend your time and how you delegate. So, for example, when I really started doing this, I told my husband, I'm not cooking anymore. It's all you, boo. And I literally don't cook anymore. So look at your life and carve out time and be unapologetic about taking that time. Because I feel guilty about taking 3 hours, 4 days a week, which is insane. So think about if you feel guilty about putting your foot down and taking that time, think about what this is going to look like for you and your family down the line. Because I guarantee that will help you put your foot down and keep going. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I know that sounds cliche, but I'm over here struggling with my nipple out, getting stuff done. You can do it too.
That episode with Felicia was so much fun. And I love, love, love this admonition to delegate. You don't have to do it all. It's okay to say no. And we forget this, right? We forget that it's okay to slow down. We forget that it's okay to say no. We forget it's okay to just not do all the things. Hustle culture tells us so often that we have to do everything, right? That you're not succeeding if you're not busy, busy, busy all the time. And busy is a badge of honor. And, you know, it's so overwhelming. It doesn't have to be. It's okay to say no. You don't have to be busy. It's okay to just pause and just do something because you enjoy it. Not everything you do has to be productive. You can make change in your life. You can be like Felicia and tell your husband you're not cooking anymore, that it's you, right? It's okay to make radical change in your life, because one of my favorite phrases is that if you keep doing the things you've always done, you'll keep living the life you've always lived. You can't expect something different if you keep going down the same path. So if you want to change something, you've got to change something, right? Don't be afraid to make drastic change. And remember, you don't have to do it all. Next up, we are going to hear from Gillian Behnke.
First and foremost, make sure you're doing something you love. It's what I tell people about finding the right workout. If you don't find something you love and enjoy doing, you're not going to keep doing it and you're not going to have the same drive and initiative, right? But here's my demotivational pep talk. It doesn't all have to happen right now. It can take a little bit longer, and you don't have to be in a big rush, because ultimately it will be more sustainable. You will be healthier, and it's okay if it doesn't all happen right now. It will happen, and you will be healthier and more resilient for it if you take the time it needs and deserves, and the time that you need and deserve to do it in the right way.
Are you starting to see a trend? It's the same idea, right? Things can take a little bit longer. It doesn't all have to happen right now. I love that wisdom from Gillian. And also, to do something you love, gives me shivers just thinking about it, right? I love the example that she gave of finding a workout that you love. I have had this conversation recently. I love lifting weights. I love it so much. I always have. I've always been this way. And I have friends who just hate it. And that's okay, right? They have their thing, I have mine, and it's absolutely okay. We're doing things that bring us joy, things that light us up. And the same thing happens in your business. I was talking to a business owner this morning. She is looking at hiring a designer, but wants a lot of design control over her business. And the question that I posed to her is, how much control do you actually want to have? How much control over the design is important to you, because if you want to have all that creative say, you need to make sure that you're communicating what your vision is. You can't just turn something over to a designer and say, hey, do whatever you want, and then they do whatever they want and come back and it's not what you had in your head. Either you give it up or you don't. You can't do both, but do what you love. If you love that design aspect, hold on to it. If you love the social media aspect of your business, hold on to it. If you hate it, set a goal to hire a social media person. Just do that right now. Offload that one as soon as you can. Do the things that bring you joy. Do the things that you love. Next up, Tonya Williams.
Okay, so we're going to basically sum it all back up, okay? Recognize that this is a journey. You are going to have those ups and downs. You are going to feel like it's not working. You're going to feel absolutely amazing and over the moon. That's what keeps you coming back, right? But really appreciate the lessons and what would seem to be failures for you. And then also celebrate the wins and even the losses, because again, those little wins actually add up to really big stuff, right? You were an athlete. So if you were in track, just that one extra second might not seem like a lot, but it's like a huge deal,
Right.
And then when you do have those losses, one, it's totally okay to feel like crap. It's totally okay to maybe even grieve about whatever that loss is. But ultimately, you're going to have to bring yourself back and go over it and learn what the lesson is from that loss. And then there is a quote that I love. I happen to find this on the internet because this is what we do.
Yes.
It says, don't be pushed around by the fear in your head, be led by the dreams in your heart. And this is by Roy T. Bennett. And this is like one of the things that I live by, right? A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we can have that instinct, like the killer instinct of knowing what comes next, but then your head starts getting in the way. So just make sure that you're really following what your dreams are, because when you keep a focus on that, you're going to end up going in that direction.
The wisdom from all four of these women, just absolutely incredible to me. I love this idea from Tonya of celebrating the lessons and the journeys along the way. We celebrate the wins, we celebrate the losses. My family this last week had a pretty significant career blow, and it was really devastating. It was a really difficult week. And this week we've had a little bit of time. We've put a little bit of space between us and the situation, and we're starting to take the lessons, right? To make change, to take lessons from it, to learn what we need to learn and move forward, knowing what we know now. So I would encourage you in your business to do the same. Failure is only failure if you don't learn from it. So keep learning, let those lessons come. This has been such a fun recap of some of these amazing pep talks. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Keep your chin up. You're doing great. Remember, it's safe to slow down. It's absolutely safe to slow down. It's safe to ignore hustle culture. It's safe to go at your pace. It's safe to learn lessons along the way. You've got this. You're doing such a good job. Keep going, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Reimagining Hustle with Roxanne Merket. If you like the show and want more, check out reimagininghustle.com, and please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week with another episode. See you soon.